Hello, I'm Dan Baines at Lebanon Circle Magic, and first of all I'd like to thank you for purchasing Ghosts of Great Britain or Ghosts of America. Now, in the email that I've sent you, you will also find a video tutorial for A Book at Midnight, which Ghosts of Great Britain uses the same method, and also Oculus, which this divination tool uses exactly the same method as Oculus, which are both previous Lebanon Circle effects. So this version actually combines the two. Now, Ghosts of Great Britain has a excellent third element, whereas A Book at Midnight you would get two spectators to select the same card through a kind of hypnotic state, or what looks like a hypnotic state to the audience. We bring in a third element here where a spectator, before we even perform the Ghosts of Great Britain section, predicts the number of the card that the two spectators will pick. Now, if we have a look at this section first and we open the box, we can see that inside we have the divination tool, and we also have a divination card. Now, the divination tool is just a very simple way of forcing one of these numbers or one of these words. All we do is we get a spectator and we ask the spectator if they are a words person or a numbers person, and they take the card in their hand. Now, you might want to sort of subject them to the same sort of treatment as the spectators for the Ghosts of Great Britain element of the effect. So you could put them into a relaxed state, make them close their eyes, and maybe just do some breathing so they can focus before they select the number on the card. So say if they are a numbers person, they would hold the card like this, and while you are taking them through their breathing exercise, you simply hold the Bibliomancy card like this. I'm just going to put this card down for a moment, and by gently just holding the glass lens and your finger at the back, you can just slide the number 8 into view like this, and then by putting your thumb over it, when they open their eyes, you can place the card back onto the number card, and you can move the card around, and you can ask them to say stop whenever they want. You can ask them to change their mind if they want. You can continue, and then as you stop, you would say, there you go, please can you remember that number for me? Okay, the same again. If they were to select words, all you do is slide the word into view. This goes onto the card, you move around, and then you would say, there you go. If you can remember the number highlighted in the glass lens for me, that would be great. And that is it. That is that element of the effect done. They remember 8, and you'll see the symbology of number 8 in a moment when I show you how to perform the Ghosts of Great Britain section. Just one additional note for the Bibliomancy card. You're able to insert any force you want in there, so you don't have to use the card that I've supplied. By taking this out, you can effectively place any words from any book and force 2 words from any book using this method. Use the provided piece of acetate as a template. Just cut a piece of acetate out exactly the same size and put your text there, and then just put a piece of sellotape over the top, and it simply slides. If I can just see where, just simply slides in between the two, and to set it, just place it so the clear section between the two sections of text is in the middle, and then your force is ready. You can even pass this round for the audience to look at. Has a bit of the history of bibliomancy on the back, and it's a nice little force tool which has a bit of history about it. So that is an extra element that you can use, so it's not just specifically used for Ghosts of Great Britain. You can integrate it into many other effects. Okay, now let's look at the main performance method of Ghosts of Great Britain. Now, as I said before, this uses exactly the same method as A Book at Midnight, apart from a few minor alterations which allow us to integrate the Bibliomancy card that we saw at the first part of the tutorial video. Now, when you open the box, the cards do fit in quite nice and tightly, so it's advisable that before you perform the routine is to actually remove the cards from the box so you're not fumbling around on stage. So put those to one side and we'll have a look at the cards. Now, the first thing you need to do when you get your deck is you need to look through the deck and you need to look for the Handless Girl and Sneaking Castle. Okay. Now, these two cards are obviously different for Ghosts of America, but the way you'll be able to note them is they have numbers 25 and 26 at the bottom. Okay, so you're looking for cards 25 and 26. We turn the cards around, you'll see that they're both also 25 and 26. Now, the reason for that will become apparent in a moment. Once you've got these two cards, place them to one side. Okay, you're not going to need them again till the end of the performance. If we look at the rest of the cards, now I've highlighted the fact that they're actually numbered at the bottom, which of course the spectator's not going to know. You'll notice that all of these are numbered number 8, which corresponds to the force number that we've given our first spectator. Okay, so they're all number 8. However, if we invert the cards, you can see that they are all numbered individually. Okay, the reason for that will be shown at the end of the effect. Okay, so for now, 25 and 26 taken to one side, and this will leave you with 24 cards. All you need to do is split the deck so you've got 12 cards for each spectator. So I'll just do this quickly. Okay, so 2 decks of 12 cards. Now, as with the Book at Midnight, the spectators can shuffle the deck. They can shuffle their individual piles. It doesn't matter. Okay, there's not a lot can go wrong with this trick. Now, what you're going to do is the 2 spectators are going to come up onto the stage and you are going to put them into what looks like a kind of a fake sort of hypnotic trance. But you're going to take them on a journey, and the journey is going to take them to an old paranormal library, and the library is going to be full of occult tomes, books on demonology, books on ghosts, books on witchcraft. It's your typical type of, Hammer horror library, lots of dust and books, and it's going to be very dark and gloomy. And in the darkness, they can also hear a grandfather clock ticking. As they're looking through the books on the shelf, the clock is going to chime. And all the spectator needs to do is think or imagine what number that clock is chiming. So effectively you're asking them to pick a number between 1 and 12. So our spectator, number 1, hears the clock chime 5 times. Our second spectator hears the clock chime 7 times. But they don't tell anybody. They don't even tell you. Okay? So all you do is when you bring them back out and wake them up and bring them let them open their eyes again, you just ask them to take away the number of cards that they heard the clock chime. So spectator 1 will take 5 cards and they will give you the remaining cards back. Okay, so you will have 5 cards. That's for spectator 1. Spectator 2 heard the clock chime 7 times. So they're going to take away 7 cards. Okay, they've got their 7 cards, and the remaining 5 cards go back onto this pile. Put the remaining cards that they give you back into one pile, invert them, and put them on top of cards 25 and 26, okay, and they stay there then. Then what you do is you take the cards off the spectator, so you take spectator 1's 5 and spectator 2's 7, and you put them together. Now these cards can be shuffled again, mixed up, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference at all. And what you're going to do now is you're going to face each spectator and you're going to ask them to remember the card that corresponds with the time they heard the clock chime. But they're not to give you any visual clues as to what that card is. So they need to be poker faced, and you're going to show them all of these remaining cards, okay? So starting with spectator 1, you're going to show them, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. They're going to remember the Black Abbot, okay? Then you're just going to continue then. And continue like this all the way through the deck. And all the time they're not going to give you any visual clue, or sort of they're not going to sort of give any idea of what card they chose. But when you get to this section here, show them the last card, take the card, and then place the last card on the bottom of the deck, okay? Then we go to spectator number 2. And the spectator 2 is going to remember card number 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there it is again, the Black Abbot, okay? They've both been shown exactly the same card, although they both selected completely different numbers. And then you continue, okay? Show them all the cards, and that is it, okay? You don't need the cards anymore. You can actually just put them to one side and put them on top of this pile here. Now, you get them to go back into a hypnotic state again, get them to close their eyes, and you take them back to the library where the clock was ticking. And what you ask them to do then is go up to the bookcase, run their fingers along the bookcase and along the spines of the book, and you get them to stop at a book. And as they stop on the book, they take it out and they read the title of the book. And that title of the book will be the same as the card they've just looked at. Okay? Then you get them to open their eyes, you get them to face each other, and after 3, you get them to announce the book that they saw in the haunted library. And they will both say The Black Abbot, which is pretty amazing. However, it would be even more amazing if we look through the deck of cards first of all, and we look for the Black Abbot, which will be in the middle of the deck. So, see if we can find the Black Abbot. There we go. There is the Black Abbot. Just take it out, put it to one side. Okay. And what you do is, you go to the spectator, each spectator, and you would say to them, right, now could you please tell me what number card the Black Abbot is? Okay? Don't say it aloud, but just remember the number. And you give the number to the first spectator, you give the number to the second spectator. It's always good to hold the card this way as well. Okay, so you're going to cover up. There's very little chance they're going to see this inverted number 16 at the top, but just in case they do, hold the card like this, so they're looking at this number here. Plus, you're asking them to read this bit and look at nothing else on the card. They both remember number 8. You get the first spectator who predicted the number 8 to stand up, and then again you'll say to the spectator, after 3, I want you to shout out the number that you predicted, and also the number that spectator 1 and 2 see on the card. After 3, they all shout out number 8. So they all selected the 8th card. Now this is where card 25 and 26 come into play. You can go up to the spectators and you can say, you could have picked any card. You could have picked 25, 26, number 6, number 2, number 5, number 1, and so on, okay? And that is basically the routine and the method for Ghosts of Great Britain and Ghosts of America. Now just a quick note on Ghosts of America. Your 25 and 26 cards in Ghosts of America are the House of Death and Annabelle. Okay, so these are the 2 cards you'll need to take to one side. And you'll notice that the force number for Ghosts of America is number 11 and not number 8. Now the reason I made these numbers different is that you have the opportunity to perform the effect twice. Not necessarily for the same audience, but if the audience had already seen you perform Ghosts of Great Britain, and then you performed Ghosts of America. Someone might say, oh, they're going to pick card number 8, which of course they're not going to do. You're going to bluff them, and they're going to pick card number 11 instead. It does also mean that if you really wanted to, you could perform the effect twice in a row by simply substituting the Bibliomancy card, one for the other, the 8 force for the 11 force, and you have another performance if you really wanted to do that. But it works exactly the same, and no different whatsoever from Ghosts of Great Britain. That's it. Obviously, the Book at Midnight tutorial and the Oculus tutorial cover in greater detail the handling of both effects, but this gives you an idea how the two integrate together. It's very simple to do, and the third element makes it even more impossible. So it provides a really good climax to what can be a very eerie journey for the spectators and also for the audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or drop me a line, and I'll get back to you. And thank you once again for purchasing Ghosts of Great Britain or Ghosts of America. I value your custom, and without you I wouldn't be doing what I do today, so thank you very much.